My soul say yes. Say yes.
Yes. Want to make money. Money, taking money.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Oh. Hello.
Good morning, sir. We can hear you.
Our fellow
Lydia,
students.
bring key.
Hello.
What's the
For this back.
Hello.
Lydia. Lydia.
Wow.
Hello.
It's my lips, baby.
Okay. Yeah. I would suggest before the class starts, we should do a couple of revision.
I want water. I want to take the light. Now that I say that I'm there. One second. Check here.
My soul says yes. Says yes. My soul says yes. Says yes. My soul says
How are you?
yes.
Shut up. What's disturbing this group?
Good morning, class.
Mostly like
What did we learn in our last class? Hello? Hello, good morning, class.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Can you guys hear
Good
me?
morning, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
I would suggest before 8 o'clock, before the class starts, let's do a couple of revision.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll just trot. What is the major difference between
Okay. Fine, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, sir.
who can tell me the major innovation of the second generation of computer? the major innovation of the second generation of computer?
Sir, is it first generation?
Second generation computer. What is the major innovation?
Okay.
Which one is the carrot?
Hello. 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 Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Hello.
I'm mute here. Mute.
Okay. All right. Fine, sir. Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. Somebody say 8 o'clock. Why did not talking?
It's not saying what talk about innovation or something.
Innovation.
Vision, I think it's like innovation.
Okay, vision, that's what it's doing.
Why don't we talk about it? I think
He said you should drop machine.
You don't know. You've never dropped before. Hey, attendance.
Happy New Month. Hey, Happy New
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. How are you doing, sir? Sir. I'm waiting for it. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Sir. So by it, I was fine. Okay. That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello, sir. Listen. Yes. Yes. Okay. But yes, but you cannot be. Okay. Oh, all right. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. On that, yes. Is mine is working. Yes, of course. Hello, good morning, class. Hello, good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Okay.
sir.
I hope the network is okay. Everything is okay.
Yes, sir.
So we are just waiting for 8 on the dot. So we have about 3 more class. That's 3 minutes more.
Okay, sir.
Good morning, sir.
We have 2 more minutes more before we start the class. Okay, once again, good morning, class.
Yeah, that's what commute safe eyes.
So this is it. This is 8 a.m. and we are starting the class, and I'm going to mute all so that we can all focus on today's study session. So now I'm starting the class and I'm muting all. So I hope if you have any question to ask, you can chat me up. So we are starting class
Okay,
right
sir.
now. All right. Once again, this is FSC113 Introduction to Computer Science. And today, I'm your course instructor for today's study section. And I want to believe very well that some of us, So by now, some of us must have gotten the course materials. And once again, the textbook we are using for this course is Computer Fundamental and Visual Basic Language. And it's from the Department of Computer Science, University of Lagos. You should also note that you should try as much as possible to get the materials and use the lecture slide as a study guide. The textbook is also available at the university bookshop, but at a limited rate. But you can get more at the Department of Computer Science. It's always much. So whenever you have time to come to Computer Science, or you should always come to Computer Science department to get your copy. Now, always remember that each student will have to fill and submit the workbook, which comes with the textbook. So this is just a reminder of what we already know. So I'm reminding us that you should please try as much as possible to get your own course materials. Go to the Department of Computer Sciences, University of Lagos, and get your materials to help you in your study. Today we are looking at the chapter 5 of the book, which is Studies section 5, and the title is Computer Processing Models and Networking. That's what we'll be doing. That's what we'll be studying. So what we'll be learning. So the learning outcome for this study session, which is chapter 5, is that at the end of this study session, you should be able to know and identify the various processing models, and also try as much as possible to know the examples and give examples. Secondly, you should be able to name the types of computer networks and where they are also used. Thirdly, you should understand what is internet and some technical terms used in internet. And lastly, you should know the strategies for a good security. What are the good strategies? What are the best methods for a good security on a network? What are the various and the best security you can use on a computer network? So this is our presentation outline for today's study session, this morning's study session. The presentation outlines is basically in two major areas. The first one is processing models. Under processing models, we will be looking at batch processing, real-time processing, online processing, time sharing processing, and distributed data processing. While the other major one is networks. Presentation outline. The second presentation outline is on networks. So we are going to look at how networks are classified or are grouped. So we have peer-to-peer network, local area network, wide area network, internet, and finally, we are going to look at the security on network. So batch processing, we want to look at batch processing. What is a batch processing? What is batch processing? What do we mean by batch processing? As you know, the name has already defined it. It means that batch processing is a technique that is used for automating and processing multiple transactions. You use the batch process to process and to automate and to process multiple transactions as a single group. So in this type of processing, no user interaction is actually required. You don't need user to be part of the processing. So no user interaction is required once batch processing is on the way. So this differentiate batch processing, the batch processing from transaction processing, in the sense that it involves processing transaction one at a time and requires no users and interaction, as we have earlier said. So batch processing helps in handling tasks. That's what we are saying. It helps. In other words, that this type of processing is actually suitable for accounting and business application. So you should know what each of these processes are used for. So the first one said that this type of processing, or the area that's being used, is used for accounting and business application, such as payroll accounts or accounts receivable. It is also used suitable for stock control in the invoicing, in purchases, legend, etc. So those are where it is used. That is those areas that it is basically used. So we should note the area where it is used. I've measured it. I said it is used in payroll. It is used it is used as payroll accounts or account receivable, stock control, invoicing. But in such cases, he said that in the master files are always updated, and new transactions are periodically used. Batch process system always save money, in the sense it save money and labor over time, but it may be costly to design and implement upfront. So you should understand what batch processing jobs are due times overnight or periodically, as earlier said, or as needed, as needs may arise. So we have already given an example of where it can be used. We say, for example, bills for utilities and other services received by customers are typically generated by batch processing each month. So batch processing is beneficial because it's just as we also said that it's cost effective. Batch processing is beneficial in the sense that because it is a cost-effective means of handling large amounts of data at once. So, but we should also remember that one requirement is that the input of the processing must be correct. If not, the batch processing will be faulty, and which may also will cost time and money. So if you are looking at the slide, if you are on the slide, you can see a typical system that involves batch processing. So the diagram, the figure is showing us batch processing, how it works, how it flows. So this is an example of a batch processing system. And the second one we'll be looking at, another processing models, is the real-time processing. The real-time. So the next type of processing is the real-time process. When you hear the word real-time, what does it mean? What does it mean? It means immediately. It means now, immediately. It means now. So this processing, the real-time processing, real-time data processing is the execution of data in a short time period, providing near Huh? So once again, we say that real-time data processing is the execution of data in a short time period. That's why we said it is now, immediately. Provide near speedy output. So as you are entering it, as you are entering your data, it's processing it, it's giving you an output immediately. That's why we said it provides a nearly speedy output. So the processing is done as the data is inputted. So as soon as you are entering the data, it is processed. So it needs a continuous stream of input data in order to provide a continuous output. So in contrast, a batch processing system, just as we have said earlier on, collects data and then process all the data in a bulk at a later time, which also means output is received at a later time. So we are looking at the difference between batch processing and real-time processing. Just in a batch processing system, it collects all the data and process the data in a bulk in a later time, and also input the result in a later time. But in real-time, the data processing is known as stream processing. That means it is done immediately. The output is given. That's why I said it's real-time, immediately. Whenever you put your data, you process it and give you your output. So look at the examples. These are examples of real-time data processing system. Your bank ATM, of course, we know that as soon as you enter your data, it processes it and gives you your output. That's how when you go to your ATM, you want to withdraw, you enter the figure you want to withdraw, you do your transaction you want to do, it gives you an instant output. So the same thing also goes for traffic control systems. Then you also have a modern computer system such as the PC. Then you have mobile devices. All those ones, they give us instant results. So when you are entering the data, it's giving you a feedback. So the requirement, as you have said, is that real-time processing require a dual purpose input and output devices, such as terminal and the visual display unit. Then where are the uses? We said it is useful in specialized or transactional application, and in a situation where time is a critical factor. For example, the airline reservation, the bank. So these are where real time is actually being used, being implemented for transaction purpose. That's why I said it is real time. But it also has its own demerit, that is disadvantage, in the sense that it is complicated. Is that it is complicated. Also, it is relatively expensive. It's really also relatively expensive. It's expensive because it is real-time. It is a real-time processing system. Whatever you input, whatever you input into the system, you get an immediate or an instant result. So when we also said it's relative expensive, as I said, that is initial cost involved. The initial cost will also involve the time used in programming, the time used in testing, the higher skilled personnel, people you employ to do the work, then the file protection process to the file, because you need to protect all your data, all your file, then the backup equipment that is necessary, etc. So that is why those are the disadvantages that are involved in real-time processing. So in all, the cost, however, should be balanced with increased values of efficiency. You should know that cost is always involved, and we have mentioned the various disadvantages of it. That is, it is complicated, in the sense that it requires programming skills, testing skills, and the highly skillful people to be able to execute the real-time processing. The another one we want to look at, another type of processing, is what we call the online processing. The online processing. The online processor, as you have said, as we know, it consigns the equipment which is connected or re-engaging and functioning with the CPU and main program, e.g. teletypes, those are teletype unit, console card reader, OCR, video, etc. So it is also at least a one-way communication between operators and also the terminal. Now you should note also that an online system is not always in real time, just as you have said. So you don't assume, you don't think that it is it is not always a real time processing system. That means it is not an immediate inquiry response system, in the sense that it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be an online. So you should note also that an online system is not always a real-time system, or real-time systems must have an online capability and equipment. So the next one we'll be looking at is time sharing. Time sharing. Time sharing in data processing is a method of operation in which multiple users with different programs interact concurrently. I repeat it again. Time sharing processing system is a processing is a method of operation in which multiple users with different programs can interact, or will always interact at the same time with the central processing unit of a large-scale digital computer. So that is what time sharing can do. So the time sharing also has its own advantages. It has its advantages. So those advantages that the memory is economically used, that is, it supports a multi-programming function, in the sense that it supports, just as I said, it supports all programs. It doesn't matter the type of programs you're using. So it supports different programs concurrently at the same time. So the computer time is also economically used. That is, the time is also used concurrently. The time is economically, so the time is used. So there's no room for monopoly, since there is time slice for each job. So it doesn't create room for monopoly. And we have some types of computers that can actually do this time sharing process. We have the microcomputers. The microcomputers, they interact. They are the modern computer that interact efficiently well. Then you also have the mainframe system, the supercomputers. They are all suitable for this type of processing. The mini computers, the mainframe computers, the supercomputers, they are all suitable for this type of processing. And the next one we are going to look at, but you should also try and remember that the time sharing was developed during the late 1950s and early 60s. So that means it has been a long time ago. Now it is developed just to make more efficient use of the processor time. Time sharing was developed during the late 1950s and early 60s to make more efficient of for the use of the expensive. We should also know that which include multiprocessing, parallel operation, and multi-programming. And also, computer network are organized for the purpose of exchanging data, sources, and centered in a time-sharing system. Then we'll look at the distributed data processing. Distributed data processing. Distributed data processing. Now, you should know that the distributed data processing system is a system in which there are several autonomous, which may also be independent, autonomous and independent, but interacting processors or standalone system store at different geographical locations linked over a communication network. So in essence, distributed processing system processing is a computer multiple computers across different locations share computer processing capability. So if you look at this diagram, you can see the user is trying to share database in different locations. This is location A, B, C. There are different locations in different locations, but the user is able to access it because as a centralized server that is managing and providing processing capability to all. Comprises the distributed processing system network are located at different locations, but they interact by means of wireless or satellite link. So if you look at the diagram very well, you can see that the user that is trying to connect to all the resources, all the needs by means of link. So that is what data distributed. Somebody is raising up his hand. Hello? Hello? Somebody is raising up his hand. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. You are asking question. You want to ask question. You raise up your hand. Hello?
Sir,
Hello,
we can't hear you well. The network is fluctuating, sir. Your voice is not very clear.
Okay. Okay. Do we need to repeat all over again?
I don't know. But I think you speak, but your voice is not clear at all.
Do we need to repeat all over again?
Repeat now.
Yes, sir. You can repeat.
So where did
from the time sharing? Yeah, from the time sharing, sir.
Okay, from the time sharing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, from here, from the time sharing, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
from the
sir.
time sharing.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
From this. Okay. All right. I said the time sharing processing is a method of operation in which multiple users with different programs that is at the same time. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There's a difference between all the time. There is difference between all the processing model. Remember, we said batch. When we say batch process, we said the batch processing are done in bulk. The output may be later, isn't it? Then we said the real-time processing is done immediately. It's done immediately. done, when you input, you get your result, you get output. And I think we gave examples of that. Then we also talk of online processing. Then before we now start talking of time sharing processing, we said that in time processing system, we said it interacts with many users. We said that the system interacts with many users, giving each of them fast individual attention on a time slice base. So that's why we said that there is a multiple user can interact. Also, we try to give an advantage. We are looking at the advantage. We said the advantage of the time sharing is that the memory is economically used. That means everything that has to do with the system. Yes.
So
I'm listening.
the network is breaking. I can't hear you clearly.
Actually, the voice is cracking. The voice, sir.
I said, sir, the network is breaking. I can't hear you clearly.
Okay, but can you hear me now? If I say time sharing, can you hear me? Time sharing
Yes, we
process.
can hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay,
And
but
sir,
the
please, you
time
can
sharing
mute.
process.
Sir, you can mute all of us again. I guess the background noise is one of the reasons why we can't hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. So I should mute everybody back.
Yes,
Then
sir. Yes, sir.
if you have any question, you can always raise up your hands.
Sir, just mute all of us so that we can hear you clearly.
Yes, you need to mute all
Yes,
of us so that.
Okay. So just as we have seen, we said that time sharing processes, we said that time processing sharing was developed during the late 1960s and during the late 1950s. Please take note of the date. The time sharing was developed during the late 1950s and early 60s to make more efficient use of the expensive processor. Of course, the processor will be expensive in the sense that it is time sharing. It is time. It is time based. In this time, it involves time. So you have to make use of it because of the time. That's why we say the system interacts with many users. The system will interact with many users, giving each of them fast individual attention on a time basis. And we also said it also involved multiple processing. Multiple processing is easier. Multiple processing is easier when you are using time sharing system. And we said that it is commonly used time sharing techniques include multiprocessing, parallel operation, and multi-program. That is why we said you have to make maximum use of it. It's a computer network are organized for the purpose of exchanging data and resources resources are centered on time sharing system. Then we talked about the distributed data processing. Data processing, that's what we are looking at. We said that the distributed processing is a system in which there are several autonomous or independent but interacting processor. Interactive processor, which could be a standalone system, or which could be a standalone system and or data are stored at different standalone system, but at a different geographical location. Different geographical location. And we also said that they are linked by a wireless connection or satellite link. So I tried to explain to you that, and I look at this diagram. If you have the slide, you look at the diagram, you can see the link between all. Somebody's raising up hands again. Yes. Somebody's raising up his hand. Somebody's raising up his or her hand.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. I'm listening. Well,
Okay,
you want
yes,
to
sir.
ask a question?
Sir,
Yes, I'm listening.
okay. Does it mean that the distributed data processing, they are dependent on a particular computer, while the time sharing, they are independent, but they communicate with each other?
Of course, if you look at it, we said the time sharing interacts. We said it interacts. The basic line in time sharing processing is the multiple processing. That is, it does their own using multi-processing techniques, multi-processing, multi-programming, and parallel operation. That is what they use. And that is why we said that the processor is expensive. So you have to make maximum use of it. But when it comes to distributed processing, it is a standalone. That's why we said they are with processors. They are standalone, and those standalone are at different locations. If you look at this figure, can you see this figure? Can you see the diagram, the figure?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you see the diagram? You can see the user trying to what?
Yes, sir.
To interact. Now, look at those data. Look at the other database. A database, one,
Okay, sir.
two, three, the three database. They are different geographical location. Are you following me?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you
We are
with
following
me?
you. Yes, sir.
So they are linked in distributed database. They are linked. How are they linked? They are linked over what? They are linked with what? They are linked with what? How are they linked? They are linked with wireless or what? Satellite what? Linked. But they also the key features of a distributed processing is that computers are distributed over a wide geographical area. So those are the main features, those are the key features of a distributed processing system.
Sorry, sir.
Computers are distributed over a
Please,
wide
you can mute us all again.
geographical
Please, you can mute
area.
us all.
Okay, I'm listening. So in a distributed data processing,
Sir, please mute
okay.
all of us again.
Yeah, I'm muting. So we are trying to look at some of the key features of a distributed data processing system that makes it different from the time sharing processing. We said that one of the key features of a distributed data processing is that computers are distributed. That means they are spread over a wide geographical network. You can be in Lagos. In Lagos, can be able to access, if you are in Yaba, you'll be able to access any computer in, for example, in Badagry, in Ikorodu, even if that's why it's far geographical, even in Ogun, even in Kaduna, Delta. That's why we say a wide geographical network. Wide geographical network. That's what we mean. Then we also say that a computer can access, of course, if computers are spread over a large geographical area, it means that it is done so for you to be able to what? To have access to files of other computers in the system. So those are the key features. Say a computer can access the files of other computer in the system. Then a computer can, the ability for computer within the system to process data jointly or interactively. So those are the key features of a distributed data processing. So the processing is either carried out centrally or at what? A different location. Then files are held. No, when you talk files are held either centrally or at local sites. There must be a particular locations, a particular central point or a central place where files can be what? Can be located, or local site where site can be located. And the most important one is that authority is decentralized when it comes to distributed data processing. Authority is what? Decentralized, as processing can be performed independently by local computers. So that means that in distributed data processing, the authority is decentralized. That is the control ability, the ability for you to have control over it, the ability for you to manage it is independent, is performed independently by the local computer itself. So if you look at this diagram, if you look in this system can be performed independently, or the computer system can perform independently. Okay, somebody else is raising up his hand. So let's quickly just answer this question and move on to network. Move on to network. Yes, here. Okay. Yes. Yes. Who is raising up his hand? Who is raising up his hand? Yes. I thought somebody was raising up his hand. Yes. I thought somebody raised up.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, you are raising up your hand. What?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, I'm listening.
Yes, you said in that distributed data processing that it can be performed by local computer system. How about the one actually distributing the data to all other local computers?
Yeah,
What's the function?
I said that the control mechanism, you understand?
Okay, sir.
When you talk about
Yes.
distributed data processing, we said it is decentralized. That's what we say. We say it's a standalone system, isn't it? Standalone system. And we said they are linked. Standalone system in a different geographical location, linked over a communication network.
Yes,
So when
I want to ask, what is an example of distributed data
I'm
processing?
listening to you. So we are trying to see. We said it's a connection. If you look at this diagram, you see that there are different systems everywhere. Different security for you to be able to manage system A, system B, system C is decentralized. That means you cannot manage, you cannot control another system located in a different location that you want to access your resources from. You want to access your resources. We said this kind of system is musically used in also in the industry, where you have a system, you are working, for example, you are working in a manufacturing company. You are working in a manufacturing company, let's say, for example, manufacturing company A, and you have another location, a branch somewhere B. You have another branch somewhere C. You have another one somewhere D. So you see that you have a different location. Are you following different location, isn't it? So that means for you to be able are you with me?
Yes,
It means
sir.
that
Yes,
those different locations, they are connected through wireless means or through satellite links. And each of them has, so each of them have policies, has their own procedures that each of those systems are what? Each of those systems, what do we say? What do we
They are
say?
independent.
Yes.
They are independent.
Centralized and independent.
Okay, good. Now you are following. Now you are following. So that one will now take us. That one will now take us to network. So that will now take us to network. We want to look at network. We are looking at networks. We are looking at networks. We are looking at, is there anybody in the class that want to tell us what is network? Anybody listening? We are looking at networks. Is anybody in the class that wants to tell us?
In essence, is a connection of some more computers linked together.
Okay, that is good. That is good. So a network is what? A network is what? Network is what? A network consists of two or more computers connected together, and they can communicate and share what? Resources. They can what? Share resources. Now, these resources that we are talking about, it could be a printer. For example, if you look at this figure, you can see a printer there. So that's what a network means. He said a network is a network consists of two or more computers. So if you look at this figure, you'll see two computers that are connected together, and they communicate together, and they share resources together. Now, what are these resources that they are sharing? What are the resources that they are sharing? One, they can share printers, they can share database, they can share files, and all. So a network connects one computer to another computers through peripheral devices. If you look at the figure, you see the peripheral devices enabling what? Devices enabling you to share data and resources with others. We already know what type of resources they are sharing. We said they can share what? They can share files, they can share printer, they can share database, share many resources that they want to. So we also say that a network consists of two or more computers that are linked in order to share resources such as printers, CDs, exchange files, allow electronic work, communication like email. So we have different types of network. So okay, these are more definition of network. So a network, as I said, is a collection of computing devices that are connected in various ways in order to communicate and share resources. So in the essence of network in a system is for the system to be able to communicate and share resources. He said usually the connection between computers in a network are made using done using is whether you use the physical cables or what, or wireless cables, whether physical wires or cable. The computer on a network may be linked together through cables. It could be telephone lines, it could be radio waves, it could be satellites, it could be infrared light. That's infrared light beams, which is what we call fiber optic. Please note how they are connected. Note how they are connected. I will take that one. I will take that sentence again. I will try and check that sentence. I say computer on a network may be linked through what? Cables. Is that I use cables or telephone lines or radio waves, satellite or infrared light beams, as we know it today, fiber optic connection. But however, connection are what? Wireless, using radio waves or infrared. So go on and on. Look at, we have said this all, and we have said it that network, the genetic, which is the basic term, the node or host. In network, you have what is called the node. You have what is called the host. So the node or the node or host refers to any devices on a network. That's what you mean.
Good morning.
Any device, any node. The term node or host refers to any device on the network. Data transfer rate. So these are the key terms. These are the key terms in a network.
Please,
the
sir,
node,
can you mute everybody?
host. Okay.
Mute everybody.
So we are looking at some of the key terminology in a network. We said the node or the host. We said the data transfer rate. We said that the data transfer rate is the speed with which data is moved from one place on a network to another. We also said that data transfer rate is a key issue in computer network. Please don't forget that data transfer rate. Then also server. There's always a server in a network. So a server is any device on a network providing a special engine service, providing special services. So a server is located somewhere in the network that you're able to access all the necessary information you need to access. You can have an email server, you can have email server, you can have a client complaint server. There are many types of server. That means you can have a file server. What does a file server do? A file server is a computer that stores and manages files for multiple users on a network. That's one type of a server. Then secondly, web server. What is it? Web server. So the web server is the computer dedicated to respond to requests from the world, from the browser client, or requests for the web pages. So a web server is a computer dedicated to responding to requests for web pages. Then we are looking at some terminology.
Sorry, sir. What do you mean by engine service?
The data transfer, data transfer
Please, sir, mute everyone again. You have unmuted us.
Sir, please mute us.
Sir, please mute everyone.
There's noise.
Why did you mute yourself? Guy, you talk too much. What is it?
Noise is much.
Mute everyone.
Then
Mute everyone. Mute everyone.
You guys should mute yourself.
What do you mean by engine
yourself.
service?
Why are you waiting for me to mute you? Use your head and mute yourself.
Please, sir, mute all of us. We can
mute yourself and just keep quiet now.
In service it does.
Sorry, sir. What do you mean?
Please, sir, can you mute everyone to reduce the background noise?
I will hear you. Guys, put yourself now. What's the problem? You guys should mute yourself.
someone else is the host. The man has left. Yes, his network kicked him out.
You guys are disturbing the class. Mute yourself.
Can you do class? Kill yourself.
You guys should mute yourself now.
Who is Shoma Eze? Who is Shoma Eze? The new host. You should mute everyone, Gary.
So like he asked for this.
Papa, you guys fucking mute yourself.
See, the host has left the class. He has left.
I want to leave the class. I want to leave the class. You guys are
which one is one want to leave the class?
Wherever place he is, everybody's not talking.
So I guess
I mean, I've used my own.
Last week
keep quiet.
Okay, we are talking. We are still talking. I should still mute all. I should mute all again.
Yes,
listening. I'm listening. Hello?
Who is this one?
Can you explain
I'm
that?
listening. Somebody is raising up his hand. I'm listening. Hello?
This
I should explain network. Hello? You said I should explain what? I should
Explain server.
Okay, what you said I should do? Okay, I should explain server. But can you see the share slide? Can you see the share? Can you see the share slide?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
You can see it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can you see the share slide?
Yes, you can see it. You can see it.
We are web server, isn't it?
Yes,
we are the web. We said the web server. We said that the web server is a computer that is dedicated to responding to requests for web pages. Isn't it?
Let us
do you understand? Do you understand what a web server is now? Okay, we said that we are looking at what makes up a network, some of the technology used in network. We said the node or host, the data transfer rate, and we also measure the server. Then each of those has their function. We said that the node or host refers to any device on a network. Then we said the data transfer rate is the speed with which data is moved from one place on a network to another. Then we said that the data transfer rate is a key issue in computer network. Then we look at the server. We are looking at server. We say a server is any device on a network providing a special engine service providing a special function, a special engine function, a service. And we gave an example. We said file server. We said a file server stores and manages files for multiple users, a file server. Then we look is a computer dedicated to the quest for
Let me bust. I can't hear you.
Sir, we stopped hearing you. We stopped hearing you, sir. Hello, boss. Good morning. Where are you?
I'm outside. You said number 9, right?
Yeah, number
Okay,
9.
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you now, sir.
We are looking at some of the can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now, sir.
Yes, I said we are looking at some of
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I said we are looking at some of the terminology in a network. And that's what we are looking. We said data transfer, we said server, we said host, we said node, we said protocols, we said bridge. These are, we say routers, we say repeater, we say topology. These are terminology in a network. So these are terminology in a network. Then you now know what is a topology. Topology, this refers to the configuration among nodes, including the wiring scheme. So the wiring to be either ring, bus, or star. So we have two types, or we have types of networks. We have types of network. The first one is peer-to-peer network, peer-to-peer. We are looking at types of network around. We are looking at peer-to-peer. So we said in a peer-to-peer, the pairs are connected, are computer systems which are connected to each other via the internet. So that will be by peer-to-peer. So in peer-to-peer, file can be shared directly between systems on the network without the need of a central server. That is, each computer in a peer-to-peer network becomes a file server as well as a client. So the only requirement for a computer, to join a peer-to-peer network are the the internet connection and point-to-point interface. So if you look at this design, if you look at this diagram, the figure, this is a peer-to-peer. If you look at this figure, this is a peer-to-peer diagram. A peer-to-peer network is also called a work group. So in peer-to-peer, all the arrangements, all the hierarchy are all equal. So whatever is here can be, whatever is a computer, whatever is a system, A computer A can be accessed by computer B. So that's why we said that the files are shared. That the files are shared directly. The files can be shared directly between the system or the network without the need of a central server. So if you look at this design, if you look at this figure, there is no central server here. There's no particular central server that's located in a particular place where all the resources are shared from, where the resources can be shared from. So in peer-to-peer network, there is no administrator responsible for the network. Each individual can access it. So the peer-to-peer has an advantages in the sense that it is cheap. It has a very low cost. All you just have to do is to have system A and B and C connected together. Then it is simple to configure. You don't need an administrator to configure it. Then the users have full accessibility to the computer. So if you can access A, you can access B, you can access C, you can access D. Then the disadvantages of peer-to-peer network is that it may have a duplication in the resources. And it's difficult.
What do you mean by administrator to access it?
Yes, the administrator is a person. So that's why we said no administrator is responsible for the network. The administrator is a person. You can be an administrator of it. You can be an administrator managing the system. People that manage the system, people that manage computer system, most times we refer to them as an administrator. So no administrator is responsible for the network. So that is for peer-to-peer. So the disadvantage is that it may have a duplication in the resources, and it will be difficult for you. It will be difficult for you to upload any security policy. That is, anybody can access them. There is no policy. It's difficult to upload policy because it's peer-to-peer. Now, it's also difficult to handle, even uploading. That is the disadvantage. That's the disadvantage. So now, where peer-to-peer network is appreciated. Now, it is when the system is less than 10 users, 10 or less users. That is when you can use peer-to-peer. Then there is no specialized service required. It doesn't have server. It doesn't have a central server. It doesn't have file server, web server, database server. It doesn't have any type of server. Yes, somebody is raising up his hand.
Sir.
I'm listening.
Sir. What do you understand about peer-to-peer network?
Peer-to-peer network. Okay, can you see the diagram? Can you see the diagram?
Yes, sir.
See this diagram?
Yes, sir.
If you can see the diagram, at least you can see the diagram. You see, it's a peer-to-peer. They are all connected together. So that is why we said that in peer-to-peer, that's why we said in peer-to-peer, they don't have a central server. It has no central server. So that's why we said that files can be shared directly between systems on the network without any. So it doesn't have a central server. Now, each of those peer-to-peer networks becomes a file server as well as a client. So whatever is in network A, system system A, can also be manipulated, can also be checked in system B, C, D. So that they don't have any central server. So all the system is a server, and all the system is also a client. So that's what we mean by a central server. And when you look at server, where can you find it? You find it in a place, the network where the users are less than 10. It has no specialized service requirement. Security is not an issue. They have no security attached to it. It has no security policies. It has no security procedure. You can log in as you wish. You can do whatever you want to do.
Sorry, sir. What do you mean by clients?
Clients. What is mean? Okay, have you a client is a computer. A client is a computer. Client is a computer. That is why we said node and host. If it was a system where you have a central server, if you have one particular server, a central server, any other person, any other user that is connected to that central server may be referred to as what? Client. That's what we mean by client. So that's why we said in a peer-to-peer network, all computer is acting as a server, and all computer is also acting as a client. Then look at client and server. Yes.
The terminology in network.
Come again.
Can you explain the terminologies in network?
Yeah, that's what we are explaining. The terminology, we said they have hosts. One of the technology is host, file transfer, server, load protocols, bridge, router, topology. Those are network terminology.
Sorry, sir. What is the and a repeater? What is a router and a repeater? What does it function as?
A repeater. We said repeater is a device set of interwoven along a circuit to regenerate or boost the signal over a distance. If you have been to Unilag before, you must have seen some little routers. You must have seen some. If you have been to CITS, you see routers, you see repeaters, you see bridges. You may even you must have come across a topology without you knowing. All these devices that are everywhere. So we move on to client and server. By now you should know what is client, as I've said. As I've said, you should know what is server. So you should know what is server, you should know what is client. Then look at these are the advantages of client server network. It also has its own disadvantage in the sense that it has cost of servers. You need to buy servers. It also introduces a single point in the failure. So you need experts to configure the type of network. Or when you're talking about client and server, then look at these are the types of network: local area network, wide area network. These are the types of network that we have in networks. Types of network are local area network and wide area network. So local area network, what is local area network? Local area network is a network that connects a relatively small number of machines in a relatively close traffic. So these are more or less in a building. So we can look at the example. Say the example of a local area network is inside a student computer room. Inside the student computer room, that's an example of a local area network. Inside your room is an example of a local area network. You said?
Don't come on to play. No, don't. You see back when I say download the film, not do anything.
Who is that now?
So we are looking at local area network. Local, as you know, we said the local area network is a network that connects relatively small number of machines, that is computer in a relatively close geographical area. We have small network, short distance. We have example, we said a room, a floor, a building. You can find a local area network in a room, in a floor, in a building, and it's limited by number of computers and distance cover. Usually one kind of technology is usually one kind of technology throughout the local area network. So you always find it within an organization or within a department. And we try to look at an example of where we can find local area network. We say we can find we can find local area network in your building, in your room, even in the lab. If you have been to the lab before, that is an example of computer area network. If you have been to CITS before, that's an example of computer local area. They are relatively close. They are close in the same, relatively close, the same geographical area. Then there are various configurations that are used in local area network. And those configurations is what we call topology. We call them topology. So in local area network, we have the ring topology, we have the star topology, and we also have the bus topology. So the ring topology is a configuration that connects all the nodes in a closed loop on which message travel in one direction. So that is ring. You know what is ring? The ring is like a cycle. Ring is like a cycle. All the messages are in a loop. They travel in one direction. Then you have star topology. What is a star topology? Star topology is a configuration that centers around one node, which others are connected, and through which all messages are sent. You have the bus topology. Bus topology are nodes, all nodes are connected in a single communication line that carries message in both directions. So this is a figure of a topology. This is a ring topology. You can see the ring, you can see the star topology, and you can see the bus topology. A bus topology called internet. If you look at this bus topology, you can see there's a link. If you look at it, the connection is different from the bus topology. It's also different from the ring topology. So we move to topology. Said at least this will give you a summary. So, just summarize. It said how many computers are connected together. In a bus topology, you see. So in bus topology, you can say that we said that all connected in a straight line. This ring topology, this star topology. Star topology is connected by a hub. They are all connected by a hub. Then bus topology, we said is simple and low cost. It has just a single cable called a trunk, which can be also called the backbone or the segment. Only one computer can send message at a time when it comes to bus topology. Then it has passive topology. That is, computer only listen for, not generate data. Then you have the star topology. What does the star topology do? So each computer has a cable. In star topology, if you can see this diagram, this is star topology. Each computer has a cable connected to a single point. More cabling, hence high cost. Of course, if you look at this star topology, it's going to involve you to have more cable, and that will be costly. That will be expensive to maintain. All signal transmission through the hub. If you look at this diagram here, all the signals are transmitted from the hub to each of the computers in the network. All signals transmission through the hub If it is down, if the transmission is down, then the entire network is also down. So now, depending on the intelligence of the hub, 2 or more computer may send messages at the same time. That's why I say depend on the intelligence of the hub. So how do you connect a network? How to connect a network with bus star topology. So these are it. In bus topology, in bus topology, you use what we call coaxial cable. Coaxial cable is connected to network card. Coaxial cable is connected to network card. Then you have the topology. You have the star topology too. These are all how they are connected. Then the ring, of course, this is ring. We said in ring topology, every computer serves as a repeater to boost signal. So you can see the ring topology everywhere. So typical way to send data in ring topology is through token pass. You can see the token pass here. Said only the computer who gets the token can send the data. So there is a disadvantage in ring topology. One, it is difficult to add computer. If you look at it, when you want to add additional computer, once you have configured your system, configure your topology, it will be difficult for you to now want to add another system. So that means you have to start afresh again in configuring the old topology. So it is difficult to add computers. It is more expensive. If one computer fails, the whole network fails. So if one computer fails in star topology, in ring topology, all the whole network will also fail. Then we look at wide area network. Wide area network. What is wide area network? Wide area network is a network that connects 2 or more local area network over a large geographical distance area. So it could be from Lagos to Calabar. You can see wide geographical area. These are normally common in our banks where we have branches. For example, you have a bank here in Unilag. You also have a bank in Delta State. You have a bank in Abuja where they have their office, and you want to access all those ones. All the staff want to access each of those banks. So they are what? The type of area network is what we refer to as wide area network. So wide area network is a network that connects 2 or more local area network. We said 2, you must take note, said 2 or more local area network, which is different from the local area network, which is within a building, within a room, within the department. But this is 2 or more local area network. So they are connected together. Wide area network connect 2 or more local area network over a large geographical distance or area. One particular node on a LAN is set up to serve as a gateway. That is it. So you can decide to use one particular network, one particular LAN in different places to serve as a gateway to handle all communication going between that LAN and other network communication between the network. So gateway, you should take note of that word gateway. Like there's one particular area network that's acting as access, where you can access other computers, where you can communicate to other local area network in the same network communication. So if you look at this diagram, you see this diagram, it gives us, this is one local area network, this is another area network. Now, they are connected together by this link. And this link is what this connection, this link, this red label, red link is what we call gateway. So in essence, gateways are used to connect the similar network. this network is far away in another location. This network is also far away in another network. But their area, if you look at this figure, this whole figure, they are in area network. This area network, computers are connected, another one area network. But if you look at this gateway, this computer is acting as a gateway. This computer is also acting as a gateway. So these both are the link to each of the local area network. So whatever this gateway access from here, it is transmitted all over the whole area network. So gateway handle messages. If you look at this gateway handles messages, addresses, and protocols conversion necessary to deliver what? Necessary to deliver a message from one network to another. Somebody is raising up his hand, a local area network. Somebody is raising up wide area network. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm listening.
my question is this, sir.
Yes.
Please, sir. This wide area network, does it mean it can only work for the Ring local area network, or it can also work for other types of local area networks?
No. You know, what we are saying here is that, for example, wide area network, we said dissimilar network is a dissimilar network. You know, they are not in the same building. If you look at this wide area network, they are not in the same building. They are not in the same building. For example, do you know where Jam office is?
Yes, they have branches all over.
Yeah, no. Okay, fine, good. That's very good. That's a very good example. They have branches all over, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So how do they communicate? How the Jam office here in Lagos communicate with the one in Abuja, communicate with the one in Kaduna, that you are able to write exam at the same time?
Through the wide area network.
Yes. That is it. So, you know, the office in Abuja has an area, they have an area network there for their Jam, for their staff. The one in Lagos too have offices here in Lagos, as you said, for their staff. Each of them, they are assessing resources. They are assessing Jam questions, isn't it? They are setting Jam questions. They are giving the time. They are doing all the necessary things they need to do. But for them to be able to communicate with each other, that is when you now introduce this gateway. So it is this gateway that makes it a wide area network. Is it okay?
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir.
So who is asking question again? Okay. So let's continue. So if you look at this diagram, area a network, look at the next diagram. If you look at the next diagram will help us to understand wide area network. Said wide area network that uses long range of telecommunication links to connect two or more LAN computers housed in different places, far apart, like towns, states, countries. If you look at this one, it's an example where a local area network on our campus. The internet is a very good example of local area network. You are here in Nigeria, you are accessing Yahoo you are accessing other resources in other countries, and you are here in your house. So, like, for example, it is normally used by the banks and oil companies with different offices all over the country. So you can see this student computer center is connected to LAN, to your home, and to US, so you can be able to access any part of the world. So this is the LAN. So the LAN wide area network is the link to all these other local area network. So it is the one that is providing resources. So this is what we call wide area network. Then we have what we call the metropolitan area network. So metropolitan area network, MAN. So the metropolitan area network is the communication infrastructure that have been developed in and around large cities. That's why we call it metropolitan. So metropolitan area network, the land is limited to one city or metropolis. Then the internet. So that will take us to the internet. This is where we are. Internet. What if I ask us what is the internet? All of us will already know what is the internet. So the internet is a globally connected network system. Globally, that's what internet is. Globally is a globally connected network system that uses a TCP and IP to transmit data via various types of media. So you should know what is that word, TCP and IP. I've told you several times that whenever you see an abbreviation, you should try and know the meaning of the abbreviation, TCP and TCP/IP. So you should know what that means. So note it down. So the internet is a network of global. The internet is a network of global exchanges, including private, public, business, academic, government network, connected by what? By what? Guided wireless and fiber optic technology. So that is what internet is all about. Said it includes private, public, business, academic, government network that are connected together by what? By guided wireless or fiber optic technology. So the internet is the largest network in the world. The internet is the largest network. The internet is the largest network in the world, connecting millions of people. You have electronic mail to connect to millions of people. Electronic mail, you know what's electronic mail? Your Yahoo, your Gmail, you use in sending message, even the university mail. All the mails, all the electronic mail will send electronically. That is it. Then you have www, World Wide Web, that has its own web page and website. So you should know. So you should know what is www. Of course, we know that the internet and the internet and www, well, we use it interchangeably, but they are not exactly the same. The internet refers to global what? Communication system, including hardware and infrastructure, while the web, which is www, is just one of the services communicated over the internet. So when you are talking of the internet, we said it's a global communication system that involves hardware and infrastructure. But the web, which is www, is just one of the services that is communicated over the internet. Then who owns the internet? Who do you think owns the internet? Who owns the internet? Who owns? Is anybody in the class that want to answer the question? Who owns the internet? Who is the owner of the internet? Okay. So, okay, somebody wants to say, or who wants to tell us who owns the internet? Okay. Yes, who owns the internet?
No one, sir.
Sir, no one. It's a decentralized unit.
I think go back to the difference between internet and www.
Somebody said it is God that owns the internet.
The internet is a decentralized network.
Yes, yes, you are right. I'm asking who owns the internet. Somebody said it is God that owns the internet. Is it
Jesus
true?
Christ.
Said it's God that okay, somebody said it's Jesus Christ that owns the internet. Somebody said it's Bill Gates that owns the internet. So who owns the internet? I'm asking the question. Somebody said it's Yahoo Boys that owns the internet.
Nobody
owns the internet.
Nobody owns the internet.
Everyone, yes, and everyone. I like
No one
that.
and everyone.
No one and everyone.
So the answer is clear. Nobody owns the what? The internet. Why? Why?
Because it cannot be controlled by a single person.
You
It
sure?
is not physical.
Because if
Because it's the control of my dad.
Are you sure?
The
Because it
internet is
cannot be
not
by
physical.
controlled
like when one side the other no
by
is centralized saver.
No one told the internet.
I hope you will never I hope you will not forget. I hope you will not forget. I
Even
hope
the
you will not
government
forget
cannot take the ownership of the
information.
internet. No one owns the internet. So hello, can we stop making noise?
So I hope we will not forget this word, internet and word and www or web. We said that the internet refers to global communication, global, that is for everybody around the whole world, including hardware and software. Why the word? The web is one of the services that is what connected. So nobody owns it. No single person or companies owns the internet or even control it, in the sense that everybody has its own. That's why if you remember, we said that the internet is a network of global exchange, including private, public, business, all these private individual, private company, public companies, business organization, academic. That is why when you are typing the services, you always put NG. If it is government, if it's education, you put NDU. If it is an organization, you put ORG. So that is to tell you that nobody actually owns it. Nobody owns the internet. It's a network of global what exchanges. So somebody asks you, oh, who owns the internet? You said, oh, nobody owns the internet. You should be able to go further to tell the person why. Why? Not just say, oh, nobody owns the internet. Nobody does. But the internet is existing. Somebody is contributing. So you should be able to tell the person that it's a network of what? Global exchange that involve the private, the public, the business, the academic, the government, and others. And these are what? They are what? Guided by wireless and fiber optic technology. The internet connection. So you should also know some of the internet connection. For example, internet backbone. You said internet, okay, somebody is raising up his hand. Okay, maybe let's just quickly finish the slide. I think we finished the lecture. I think we have about 5 more slides to go. Then we'll come back and ask questions. So internet connection, we are looking at internet connection. Internet backbone says a set of high-speed network that carries our word, traffic work, internet traffic. And we have companies, we have network providers, we have companies that provide such internet backbone. We have the AT&T, we have the GTE, we have the IBM. So these are service providers. So internet service provider is a company that provides either companies or individual with access to internet. So we have seen an example, the internet connection said there are various technology available that can be used to connect a whole computer to the internet, which you know. Some of us use our phone, you on your hotspot, you subscribe, you digital subscribe, you do all manner of cable line, there are many ways as you are now that you connect. There are many ways you are connected. Some of us use MTN to connect to internet, some of us use free mobile, you use all manner of things. Even when you come to Inlag, you connect to internet. So there are many ways you can connect. You either use a phone model, a data subscriber line, a cable model to connect to internet. Then most especially, you use the broadband. So the broadband is a connection in which transfer speed are faster than 128 bits per second. Then you have now, let's talk about the security. Security on the network. Security on the network. What do we mean? What do we mean by security on the network? What do we mean by security on the network? we said security on the network says a process of preventing, that's security. First of all, know what is security. So security is a process of preventing, detecting unauthorized use of a computer or computer system. He said it is also about procedures and policies that protect system against accident, human carelessness, and order. So that's the definition of that's the definition of security. Now we are looking at security on network. We said that a stand-alone computer, if you look at a stand-alone computer, that's your personal computer, the one you use at home, it could be your laptop, it could be your system, whatever is stand-alone. So the stand-alone computers is easy to secure in the sense that your personal computer, you can put your password and nobody can have access to your password. It's secure. You have already set the policies. You have set all manner of policy that makes your standalone computer to be secure. But once you should know, once it can simply put, you understand, one can simply put the diskette in a safe and stored in a computer in a locked closet. You can do that one. So that's why we said a standalone computer is easy to secure. Once can simply put the diskette in a safe and store the computer in a locked closet. But when a computer is attached to a network of computer, security becomes more complicated. That's what we should know. For one to have a good security on network, the following strategies should be considered. If your security on the password, if you want to have a very good security network, the following strategy must be considered: the physical security, the password, the personal identification, and a host of others. Now we already know what is password. We have been applying password in our system. Now, what do we mean by the physical security? Well, what do we mean? What do we mean by physical security? Now, the physical security, as we said, as we know, is the simplest of all the different securities one can have on network system. So it could be in the form of a lock on the computer system or a guard at the door. So that's when it comes to physical systems. Either you lock on the computer system, or you put a guard at the door. Could be what do you call it, fingerprint guard. It could be all manner of guard. It could even be key guard. So key lock would also be used in locking the system. So there are many other systems that uses key that before you have to unlock the key. So that is when you are talking about the physical security. So, and more also, you could even introduce an alarm. Also, an alarm system. You could also put alarm that in the physical, as a means of physical system. So this will help in calling attention whenever the professional men are around. So if you put an alarm in the system and somebody goes there and touch, it will ring the alarm and you will know that it's under breach. Then the last one there, it is password. You all know what is password. Password on security on network. We have been using password. What is password? So password security is at no cost. It doesn't cost. It's different from the physical one. The physical one, you pay. You pay for the person that will be there to guard. You pay for the infrastructure that you put in place, the key, all manner of things that you place in place to lock. So password security is at no cost to the network and is what? Potentially a useful security measure. So password that are what? Chosen should be those that should be easily remembered. So any password that you are choosing on your network security, it must be the one that you must remember. And moreover, it should not be the one that can be easily guessed. But the password as a means of what? Security has been discovered to be what? Insecure. I said this is because there may arise some special cases whereby employee would have what? would have what? Would have to give their password to either to their co-workers in the what? Organization. So please, let's read further. Let's get our materials. Let us read. Let's understand what is security on what? On network. So these are some of the words, self-assessment question that is there. So we said a set of rules governing data transfer is called what? Dash. So you should be able to come out with an online processing. Online processing is at least a dash communication between operators and terminals, those dash. So, okay, so I think we have rounded up lecture for today's, but let's take time to answer one or two questions that we may need clarification to. So I'm unmuting each and every one of us so that we can ask questions before we disconnect.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, I'm Kirafe Luis from Finance Department, sir.
Okay.
And please, I don't know, how having studied in LAN and WAN, wide area network, how visible will it be for Nigeria to partake in internet online voting and electronic transmission of results?
But you should know that the online voting and transmission of results is a matter of politics. They call it, it's not politics. They call it politics, electoral bills. It's not that it's not possible in Nigeria using the local area network or wide area network or all the facility that is needed. Nigeria has the facility to do all those things, but it is electoral bill. You know now, it's an electoral bill. The bill needs to be passed before it can be implemented. It's not that it cannot be done. Who says it cannot be done? It can be done. It's not done in other parts of the world. But it's a matter of electoral bill. That's what people are. That's what we are clamoring for. That they should sign the electronic bill, isn't it? So that we can start using transmission results online. So any questions?
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Sola from the Department of Biology Education.
Okay.
Understanding the fact that nobody owns internet.
Yes, nobody owns it.
My question goes, then how does it come into existence?
How does
internet come into existence?
We have the internet. Nobody owns it per se. That is one, which we said nobody owns it, but people comes together. Internet connection comes together. For example, companies that want to market their products, they will put their local area network together, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Companies, for example, mention one company, not banks, because we're already used to banks. We already know banks are an organization now, isn't it?
Yes,
so
sir.
they are all there. Then let's mention some companies, some business companies that are into internet.
Like MTN, those network companies.
It could, okay. It could be network companies. It could be beverages. It could be industry. It could be anything. But even yourself as you are, you can also have your own internet if you want to. You can have your internet in your house, products and services. All you just need is just that network of global exchange, which we say that, oh, if you want to, nobody owns the internet. All you can do, you can sit down in your house, also, okay, what do I do? I want to. So you just need connection. All you just need is connection. You just need what? Connection.
Connection.
Yes, connection. So what SAR connection is network of global exchange.
Okay.
So when you have done it, remember, as we said it is connected by guided wireless and fiber optic technologies. I hope you are following. So any more questions? Yes. Yes, I'm listening. I hope we have signed in for the attendance. I hope all of us have signed the attendance. The attendance is very important. I hope we know that. I hope we know that we must sign our attendance.
Yes, sir.
How many of us? I hope we are aware that we must sign our attendance. That is the question.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Sir, please, how are we going to sign this attendance? So that we should write it in a list.
No, in the chat. In the chat. Because I've seen people sign in. For example, Fakeye Oluwafunke Olamide. So I'm seeing those people that signed. I'm seeing their matric number. I'm seeing their departments. So many people. I hope you are following. Please make sure you sign in. Those
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, sir.
Good morning. I'm hearing you. Want to You said what?
The example.
I don't hear you clearly. The example.
Yes.
Example. Example of what?
Or computer.
No, somebody she's asking for example of what? Example of what? Can I hear you clearly? I'm not getting you. Examples of what? Can somebody in the class help us to? Yes, I'm listening. So this is the time for question. Is anybody?
What are the advantages of client and server network?
What example of?
Advantages of client and server network.
Example of clients and server network. Remember I said that
advantages
of client server network. He said it facilitates resources sharing. That's one of we are looking at the advantages of client server network. One, it facilitates resource sharing. It facilitates system backup and improve fault tolerance. It enhances security in client server network. Only administrators can have access to the server. When we are talking about client server network, only the administrator that can have access to it, nobody else. Then it supports more user. Then you can see the disadvantage of server client network, high cost of server, where you have to use several servers for it. And it also need an expert to configure the network. Yes, somebody's raising up.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, talking about the internet, why do we need data to access the internet?
It is the cost. Data is your cost now. Won't you pay? Won't you pay? Won't you pay for the infrastructure that is put in place? You see, the infrastructure needs maintenance. Remember, we said it has to do with wireless and fiber optic technology. You have to pay for the services that is rendered. So it is services. You need to pay for the services. That's why you need the data.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, please, peer-to-peer type of
is what? Is what?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. I'm hearing you.
Okay, this is Dami from the Department of Finance.
Okay.
I want to know the full meaning of TCP/IP.
Yeah, that's why I said you should. That's why I said you should note it and do it yourself. If we should be able to do that one yourself. I said it in the class that whenever, even in our first class, I said wherever you see an abbreviation, you should know what is the meaning. I am giving you as a homework what is the full meaning of TCP/IP? I think it's one of the question. Okay, it's one of the question. Not in this question. Not in this self-assessment question. It's not here. So I'm asking you now, what is the full meaning of TCP and IP? Who can tell me in the class? Who tell me
Transmission control protocol.
And what is the other one?
Internet protocol.
My friend, have you answered yourself now? Have you answered? My friend, I asked the question. Are you satisfied?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But it is no more homework. It is no more homework.
Transmission was.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Transmission control protocol.
Sir, I actually want to ask about the metropolitan area network. Can you classify it under types of area network?
Metropolitan.
Yes, metropolitan area network. Can we also call it types?
Whether you classify as what?
Area network or type of network or something like that.
Yes, but you can classify it as under wide area network, but it is restricted to only large cities, not buildings. You understand?
Okay.
It is not a building. So when you say a city, it could be from VI to Yaba. Are you following? We are saying city. It could be from mainland to Lagos Island. From Lagos Island to mainland. So all the cities within a state or around a land. Yes. So any more questions? So we should end the class, isn't it? We should, yes.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, please, what's the difference between internet and intranet? Internet and intranet.
We said the internet, what we said, internet, we said is a global what? It's a globally connected network system that uses TICP, and we said it's a network of global exchange. But the intranet, as you said, is what? The intranet is what? Is a link, is a limited network. What is connecting? Is what is connecting those local area network. What is connecting systems together? Like the bus topology. That's why we say the bus topology. A bus topology is called an intranet. Any more?
Sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. What's the difference between
good morning, sir.
You said?
Good morning, sir.
What's the difference between batch processing and transaction processing?
What's the difference between batch processing?
Data processing.
We said in what? We said batch processing is what? Is a technique for automating and processing multiple what? Transaction in a single word group. That's what we said. We said in batch processing, no user interaction is required. Are you following? No user interaction is required in batch processing. So we now say that the difference, this now differentiates batch processing from transaction processing in the sense that it involves transaction one at a time, and it requires what? What? Transaction processing what? Requires what? Processing transaction at a time, and it requires what? User interaction. That is for transaction processing. Why the batch processing, it requires no user interaction.
Sir, this is why it's from. How do you sign in?
How do you?
How do you sign in? Attendance.
How do you sign the attendance? I said you should type your name and your matric number on your name, your matric number, and your department on the chat.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
What's the difference between metropolitan area network and wide area network?
But we have said it several times.
They said it now.
Eh?
I said you said it, sir.
You said?
You said it.
Yes. You heard her. She said, I've said it.
Yes, sir, I have a question, sir.
Elisa, please, I can't get the slide.
You want to get the slide? Send your course rep or your class rep.
Sir, I have a question.
But you should go and get the textbook. Go and get the textbook. All what you have treated today is in the textbook. Go to the textbook. Come to computer science department. I said before I started, I said the textbook is available at the Department of Computer Sciences. Now remember that each student will have to fill and submit the workbook, which comes with what? The textbook. Remember, each student will have to fill and submit the workbook. There's a workbook attached to the textbook. To fill it and submit it and return it back to the department. Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
I said I'm in the office. If you want the slide, you will get the slide. But get the textbook. The textbook comes with a workbook. You must fill the workbook and submit back.
Sir, where should you submit the workbook?
The workbook comes with the
When
textbook.
you submit the workbook?
Sir? When do we what?
When should we submit the workbook?
When you finish filling now, have you gotten your textbook? Have you filled the textbook? Have you filled the workbook?
So you mean at
How
any
many
time?
of you have got the textbook? How many of you have filled the workbook? When you are done with filling of the workbook, submit back to the department.
Sir, please, I want to ask a question. What if someone has given us the textbook before? Is the workbook necessary?
That is necessary. The workbook is necessary. Very necessary. Very, very necessary. Very necessary. Very, very necessary. What did I say?
Very, very necessary.
Very, very necessary. So get the workbook, fill it, and submit it. The workbook is very, very necessary. It's necessary. I'm singing it as a song. Get the workbook, fill it, and submit the workbook. So with any more questions, we end the class for today. Thank you for listening.
Hello, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
This is 10. Okay, be fast.
Thank you,
One
sir.
question.
Sir, the filling of the workbook.
Okay.
Does that mean that we have to fill every content that is inside the workbook before submitting?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Okay, sir.
I said it's correct.
Okay,
Get the
sir.
workbook, fill it.
All right, sir.
So you want to get the workbook?
So when are we to submit the workbook?
As soon as you are correct, as soon as you finish filling the workbook, submit.
There is no deadline.
Sir, is it adding to our total mark? Is it adding to our total mark?
Sir, there's
We
no
end the
deadline for
class
submitting
today.
the text.
See you in the next class.
So when are we submitting the test?
Sir, there's no deadline.
Sir, how can we get the textbook?
The textbook is in the department. Come to computer science department. Come to computer science department. The textbook is in the
Sir,
department.
deadline. Sir,
There is a deadline.
What
There's
is
a
the
deadline.
deadline?
Come and buy the textbook. Go to the department and ask for the deadline.
4,000.
Sir, when is the deadline?
I said come to the department.
Does he add to our score?
Sir, when is the deadline?
We are ending the class. See you in the next class.
Sir, when is the deadline?
Come to computer science
Submission of the
department
workbook
and ask
at
for
our
the
score.
deadline, timeline.
The internet do not work.
Are we done with the class?
La 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 la.
Can you go back to Metropolitan?
Please keep quiet.